Chat, you need to let me do this one time. All right? One time, and then never again. Okay? One time, and then never again. Okay? Okay? Oh, fuck. Hold on. Neck guy. Oh, man. There I am. Hey, hello everyone. Hi, my name is Shirafasev. I'm the president of the Long Boy Club, the very large enjoyer of all things gaming, wrestling, other hyperfixations, and my stinky cat. Tonight, we are chillaxing, but first I need to get my fucking, mask on. You are such a performer, my guy. Listen, I love to entertain. What can I say? I love being a big old goofy guy on stream. By the way, Toad, thank you for the raid. I need to shout you out. I need to get more mods here. To be perfectly honest with you, never again. More like do it again. A fucking course. A fucking course. Thank you, man. What were you playing over there? You do need more mods. I do need more mods, but I don't know where to find more mods. I need to put out the call on my Discord. But the thing is, I don't know who to trust. I don't really know how to go about it, like, in the best way possible. I'll probably need to, like, I don't know. I'll probably just kind of pick a few other people's brains and figure out.
Hello, Mario.
GeoGuessr, that's not how to spell Fortnite. Finding mods is difficult. I mean, like, listen, I could just go with people I'm familiar with, right? I could just go with people that I'm familiar with and someone I would trust to do right by me. But, you know, I just modded a few of my friends and they helped me out in the casual sense.
Hello, Mario.
I am here. Hello, God. Before you do what I think you're gonna do, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna stop you from doing that. So we back on the stream, got my big neck swinging from side to side, side to side, so on and so forth. But yeah, hi everyone. We're gonna be doing two things tonight, actually. As you can see, this is not just Duolingo, this is not just GeoGuessr. It is in fact both of those things. We're gonna be doing my daily Duolingus on this day. But yeah, we're gonna be doing both of those things here. And you know what? Before we get into too much of anything, I do want to say I have a new emote. And it is. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna go and grab him for all of you real quick. It was made by my very good friend Phoenix Redtail. It was something I commissioned from her yesterday. Holy fuck. That's way too fast. Give me a sec. Oh, hello there. Ooh. Ooh. Homunculus. I'm gonna show you something here. I now have a guy. I now have a Tism man. Look at him. He looks like he'll talk your ear off about wrestling and then get upset when you tell him that it's fake. You know? As he should. Because it's still real to him. It's real to him, okay? But yeah. We have a new emote. If you look in chat right here, we have him in the still form, as well as the bouncy form right here. He is a real yippee, man. He looks like such an absolute... Listen, he's a mark, alright? But listen. He wears that with honor and dignity. Can't you tell? Yeah, don't tell him that it's fake. Don't tell him it's fake. He won't be able to handle it. But yeah, that is now available to all subscribers of the channel. I'm gonna be rolling out some brand new emotes here within the next while. Hold on. I'm gonna put on us a little bit of music here while I talk your ear off. That animation is so cute and smooth. Phoenix did such a good job. She like whipped that up. I mean, like I paid her like, I don't know, like $30 for it. And she whipped it up in like 2 hours, you know? would definitely post about how much he likes the Attitude Era and hasn't really moved on from it over 20 years later. The thing is, he wouldn't even be alive during the Attitude Era. It would just be something that he's just oddly nostalgic for. It's kind of like how a lot of people that were born in the 2000s, how a lot of them feel like oddly nostalgic for like 90s stuff, right? Even though that they weren't around, even though they weren't like conscious for the 90s, or like they didn't gain like intelligence and complex thought at any point during the 90s, so they couldn't really take any of it in, you know? Let's talk about how Weezer is their favorite band, but they haven't even been alive for the fucking Blue album, and they only just gained like consciousness when the Green album came out, you know? Their first Weezer song was Beverly Hills, alright? Speaking of, I need to show you guys something real cursed. I know we're going off topic like immediately, right? But this is something that just entered my space, okay? I need you to take this in, because Creepshow sent me this like a couple days ago, and I've watched it every day since, because it sends me into a fit every single time.
And the greatest band in the entire universe, really
talented people.
the music of Weezer. And now, it's Donald J. Trump's Lopez Tonight.
What kind of meshing of worlds is this, chat? You got fucking Donald Trump being like, the music of Weezer, and now on Lopez Tonight, it's Donald J. Trump.
And now, talented people.
The music of Weezer.
And now, it's Donald J. Trump's Lopez Tonight.
What the fuck is this? I don't listen. She just sent it to me one night, and I couldn't. And I've been watching it every single day, chat. I don't know how to process this.
Hello, Mario.
A very weird timeline. Trump potentially being a Weezer fan is very funny to think about. Could you imagine blasting out Buddy Holly in the Oval Office? My headcanon is that Trump genuinely loves Weezer, which means a Weezer fan had access to the nuclear codes. That is a scary thought, yes. Fun fact. You know, ooh, you, ooh, you, I look just like Bud, I look just like Agent Toad, right down there in chat. But yeah, you know what? I know that Donald Trump is lying about this, right? But who is this Mary Tyler Moore? You know, maybe there are questions that are best left unanswered, you know? There's some that are just, best left put to rest, one would say. But yeah, I know that he's lying because Weezer didn't play at his inauguration. Three Doors Down did. And if you go back and watch that, there is not a single lick of interest from anyone in the White House at that point in time. They're all just so bored. It's really, really weird. Whoever was the bookie manager for this needs a raise. This here looks like it was recorded on a VCR and then copied like 4 times over. Like, this must be like, I mean, like, this looks like it's 30 years old, but also like 3 years old, right? Do Three Doors Down even have a fan base after playing for Trump? I mean, like, listen, I don't think they have a fan base. I just think they have people that like Kryptonite, right? And then you have a smaller subset that likes, as one would call it, slow Kryptonite, which is on their next album. But no, like, they played at his inauguration, and the only time that anyone in that audience popped was when they broke out a cover of All Star by Smash Mouth. And there's a funny, hold on. Smash Mouth. Listen. They played Smash Mouth at the inauguration, right? And I don't know where you're gonna find this fucking footage. But like, But like, I swear it happened at one point. Like, they played All-Star, and in the background, you could see like Trump doing like the most over-the-top mouthing along to any song I've ever seen. He was so into All-Star, dude. You know he's seen Shrek like 5 fucking times in order to get that moved and that like into All-Star. You know, that sounds like some absolute Mandela type. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. It happened, chat. It fucking happened. I saw it with my own 2 eyes back in 2016. There was like a close. There was a guy that posted a close up on it and everything. Listen. I may not like Trump, as do most people. Sev, what are you talking about? It's 2004. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. My clock is a little bit ahead. Wait, that means I'm 14 again. Shit. Well, I gotta go make sure that I gotta go make sure my homework's done, chat. Hold on a second. Hold on, chat. Carry the 2, carry the 5. What is the abbreviation of Benzyme? Another 4-letter word. A 5-letter word for happiness. Money. Okay, I'm back. My shit is all taken care of. But yes, anyways, chat, back on track. We got the Tism boy, and he's available to all subscribers of the Twitch channel on the tier 1 list or above. And that's the same for all my emotes. That's the same for all my emotes. I'm going to be redoing a lot of these emotes because I would like to put the Lucha mask on all of them. Didn't you say your parents grounded you this weekend? Listen. Don't tell mom, okay? You and I both agree not to tell mom. All right? You and I both agreed not to tell mom that we're doing GeoGuessr or Duolingo, okay? Because Duolingo is not part of the curriculum. 7-letter word for happy. Charlie. Jovial? Elastic. It's elastic, chat, but no. I'm thinking of redoing a lot of these emotes to put the Lucha mask on them because I'm thinking of making it just kind of a whole part of my gimmick, right? I think that would be kind of fun to sort of just streamline the designs of that, more or less. And you know, I'm open to, I'm gonna get you in trouble. All right, well, listen. I just gotta make sure I do this stream before you do it. But yeah, I'm redesigning my emotes, and I am currently taking suggestions for emote ideas. I'm already workshopping a few. I'm basing some of them off of just kind of wrestling memes right now, like this, like the Kurt Angle face. Have any of you seen the Kurt Angle face lately? This shit? Have any of you seen this? What's the Kurt Angle meme? The bald guy staring with the wrestler's viral 1,000-yard stare. It's this face. It's just like him fucking giving you this face. And that's the meme. It's like a fucking reaction thing. You know? It's like a reaction thing, and like Kurt Angle like commented on it, right? And he's like, I don't know why this is a meme. You know? I don't know why this is a meme. Kurt's asking you for Percocet. Oh. But no, I'm making a long boy version of this guy, and I got a couple more memes in mind. If anyone else has any ideas, please feel free to shoot them my way. And while you're at it, join the Discord. Join the Discord chat, because tomorrow we're going to be watching the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. And no, I'm not talking about Royal Rumble 1997. I'm talking about 2024 Royal Rumble. We're going to be watching it live tomorrow in the Discord server. If you've not joined it yet and you want to watch the Royal Rumble, now's the time to do it, chat. Now is the time to do it. Come over, watch it with like-minded wrestling fans, and have a lot of fun while we do it. But yeah, those are the big points of interest tonight. Those are the big matters at hand. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and actually, for the same reason why that guy on TikTok with a bajillion followers is famous with a similar expression, who the hell knows? Listen. Who else has a fucking white shirt like this, a facial structure like this, and a fucking 5 o'clock shadow like this? Like, what do you even call this expression, right? Like, desolate, surprised, moved, a dorselessness, perhaps? I never even seen the TikTok that this is based on. I don't know what it is, chat. I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah. So far in chat, I know that we have Shoujo, Urumi. I'm pretty sure that Toe left. That's okay. Go and get food, my friend. But yeah. Tonight we are going to be doing this shit. I'm going to go ahead and put on our music here. Not the music of Weezer, because that'll get me blicked. But we are in fact going to be putting on some Lo-Fi PS2 here while we go ahead and do some things. Now, unfortunately, what the fuck? Oh, right, okay. So yeah, chat, how are we doing tonight? First and foremost? My week has been relatively busy, I would say. A lot of shit going down at work. Feeling like, man, I got a long way to go for freaking Galacon. But that just means there's more time to learn German. But before we learn German, we gotta learn about the world. Now, listen. Great.
Hello, Mario.
Ayo, dropped in to say hi. It's late and I'm snoozing. LOL. Hey, it's okay, Mac. I appreciate you showing up here nonetheless. Bud. Great. Streams this week have been fruitful for me. Nice. Fantastic. Happy to hear, my man. I know that you've been on the grind lately. You know, I'm incredibly happy for you. Is this one of the emotes that you've suggested, Shoujo, in the server? I literally only know that guy from Fortnite. He really is just the guy from Fortnite for me. But yeah, I've never played GeoGuessr, chat. I've never played GeoGuessr, and we're gonna start playing it right now. Start a new trip. Easy, of course. Now then. Hi, I'm Geo, your guide. Let's race around the world. I have, and I'm super enjoying it. I've got some wit, and I've shown it. I've got some wit, and I've shown it more often. That's fucking awesome, dude. That's fucking awesome. I wish I could show up to more of them, but like, you know, I work late, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Your mission is to travel around the world in as few days as possible. To travel, you need money. Earn your money by guessing where you are. It's all goods. Okay, but is this all goods? Each city you visit gives you a stamp in your passport. So wait, I need a passport to travel around the US now? Here's some travel money to get you going. Wait, hold on. Okay. Right now I'm on a pro social account, chat, and that means that we can play for free. I'm literally not playing for free. I paid for this shit. You play for 5 minutes every 15 minutes. All right, we're gonna start Americans realizing what a passport is. Hey, I'll have you know I got my passport recently, all right? I am now a bona fide global trotter, all right? Oh no, just showing that as like, upon having to leave their home state with the wrestler guy, just showing that as like with the wrestler guy meme. Oh, what, Kurt Angle here? Get ready to explore the world. When time started, it will refill it in 15 minutes. Ongoing classic games will be paused and saved here. Alrighty, chat, we gotta figure this shit out. So I guess we need to just kind of figure out where all this is here. What is this? What is this? We need to, like... Hold on. Wait. Here, let's go ahead and, okay, that is not English. That's not English. I have no damn idea. I don't either. I really don't either. I feel like we gotta, like, figure out the language here, chat. See now, if this were a place in Germany, I need, like, clues, dude. What is this, an energy bar? Fill up your energy. I'm going to say Europe. I do think it's somewhere in Europe, yes. Let's guess it. Ah, we were close, chat. What? Oh, no. I was thinking Italy. Just saw a flag in that window. Did you? Dang it. Okay. How about this? Museums. Oh, wait, that's library. Okay, well, we know it's in an English-speaking country. I'm going to say that... What is this area code, chat? What is 212? Okay, we got Taco Bell. What is the zip code, or rather, like, what is the zip code for, like, a...
Hello, Mario.
2112. Sign on the library. I'm literally going away from the library. What the fuck? I'm actually dumb, chat. I'm actually stupid. Oh. Hey there. Let's check this. Oh, it's New York. Chat, it's New York City. It's New York City. Dang it. I'm gonna go ahead and say... Just go ahead and guess New York. Nice! What? I took damage for that? Wait, hold on. Okay. Stadiums. I think I got this, chat. We gotta go inside the stadium. Hold on. I know some stadium. Sometimes. Okay. Disney Plus. The Good Mothers chat. Oh, wait! Okay. What language is that, chat? Okay. Italian. Are we sure it's Italian? Okay. Alright, I'll trust you, chat. I'll trust you on this one. This right here. Ah, we were close, chat. Yes, Rumi. Yes. Yes, as close as possible. Right. Right. Also, hello there, JPP owner. How you doing? Towers. Beaches. Oh, shit. You got 41 seconds. Hmm. All right, chat. I'm either going to be incredibly ignorant or incredibly smart here. But I'm going to take a guess, okay? I'm going to take a guess and say that that is Seattle. Nah, yeah! Let's fucking go, dude! I know stuff and things. Hell yeah. Let's go. All right, I'm going to let the clock run out here. All right. Wait, hold on. Huh? Oh. Okay, we got 10 minutes. Got 10 minutes. Duolingo time. We're gonna get big brain smart, chat. Big brain smart.
Der Pass. Vikram und seine Frau Priya sind im Flughafen.
It's okay to zoom in to find the location. No, I know. It's just like, I don't know, like, every single thing, you know? I don't know, like, every single city and every single place, right?
Oh nein, wo ist mein Pass?
There you go. I don't know too much, chat. But I do know that it's time to learn German.
Mein Pass ist nicht hier.
Vikram.
My friends showed me like a video that was from Foil Hands and Hog, I believe, is what they're called. And one of the guys on it said that German just sounds like English but drunk. It really does look like that.
Ist nicht in meiner Tasche.
It is not in my bag.
Und ist nicht in meiner Jacke.
It's in my, yeah. His passport is in his jacket. Nope.
Aber Vik.
No way, chat.
Mein Pass ist im Taxi.
But yeah, chat. For those of you who are into wrestling, I do have a question for you, right? I got a question for all of you, and this is important because I'm going to be showing my friends wrestling on Sunday. I'm going to try to wean them in and make them fans, right? What would you say are some good matches to show a newcomer? What would you say is a good match to show a newcomer, chat? I need your thoughts here, alright? Give me some matches that will make fans out of people who would probably not think to watch wrestling if they weren't with me, right? Warrior versus Hogan, Halloween Havoc 98. Oh, don't listen. I don't know, something with John Cena to make it familiar. I could show them John Cena versus Umaga. I will say, I do have a couple ideas, right? The matches that, oddly enough, immediately spring to mind are Guerrero versus Mysterio at Halloween Havoc 97. The Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page match from Full Gear 2023, like the one that's just like incredibly gruesome. And this is kind of a recent pick, but Josh Alexander versus Will Ospreay, just to kind of give them like an idea of like, one, what my Pony OC Shining Wizard is like, and two, because a lot like of the aesthetic of him and just kind of the vibe I want of him is based off Will Ospreay. And to just show them the wrestlers that were in the Super Show. That one Sid Vicious... Listen, I'm not going to show them Sid Vicious breaking his leg, okay? But I will show them this fucking ad. Because we need to get through that, chat. We gotta do an ad. A CM match would definitely probably draw in a newcomer.
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
I need to replace the homunculus with the fucking Tism creature at this rate, chat. He doesn't get reality. Rob was on after this. You know I do know the one. I know exactly what you're on about, and that's bad. That's bad news Brown right there. What's like a really good Cena match? I mean, like immediately my mind springs to Umaga and Cena, right? I could show them Vine wrestle. Listen, if one of my silly wrestling OCs ever makes it on the Vine wrestle, that means I'll have made it. I can finally retire once I get onto Vine wrestle. Then I can finally call it quits. I've been getting into Vine Sauce lately, lol. Vine Sauce is really fucking good. They are one of my primary inspirations, I would say. Along with New Legacy Inc.
Vikram läuft zum Taxistand.
Never watched till now. That's real surprising. Considering that your tastes really align with Vinny's especially. You know? Ah, New Legacy. Yeah, listen.
Nom nom.
I'm based.
Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. I'm based. Because I watch New Legacy. Zum Taxi.
Vic, nein.
The whole Vine Sauce group is cool, and Lima Licious is a VTuber now, and she's been really successful. Like, she recently blew up on YouTube because one of her shorts took off, and it's really cool that she's finally getting that look in. Because I remember for like the longest time, like she was incredibly small compared to Vinny and Joel and stuff like that. But now, like she's on the same level as them, right? Like she is just as big, if not probably maybe even a little more in terms of the VTubing space, right? It's really cool that she's like finally getting that jumping off point.
Priya läuft zu Vikram.
Runs to Vikram.
Oh nein.
Hello,
Das
Mario.
Taxi ist nicht mehr hier.
Hey there, Devin. How you doing? We're learning German. Same thing happened to Pumpkin Potions. Oh yeah, that's right. Because like one of her tweets just like blew way the fuck up. It blew way up. Probably see if this headache will drop. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night, Joe. Good night. Well, if anything, this is telling me that I need to stream a little earlier. Meh, just vibing. Hey, that's okay. Don't have mom catch you doing Duolingo. She better just like turn a blind eye to my fucking low GPA. In this case, the tweet exploded because some people were mean. LOL. Well, hey, that's her fucking gain, you know. Joke's on them because now she's huge, you know.
Jetzt habe ich ein großes Problem.
Grossest problem? No, I'm not. Now I have a big problem.
Dein Pass ist nicht im Taxi.
Is not in the taxi.
Dein Pass ist in deiner Hand.
Is in right
Was?
diner.
Oh. Danke, mein Schatz.
Aw. In his hand. You know what? Relatable. There'll be times where I'm just kind of doing things. And I'll wonder where my phone is, right? And then I'll look in my hand and I'm just like, oh, there it is. I'm just a complete like singular brain cell moment, you know? I'm going to be just completely... Oh, okay. I'm good. I'm good at German, kinda. Maybe. Let's go ahead and do an actual lesson here, though, because I feel like I didn't really retain too much, chat. But first, we gotta do some more GeoGuessr. We gotta do some more GeoGuessr, chat. Dude, just like, think of it like this, right? Think of it like this. You can play for 5 minutes and then you gotta take a break for 10. And you're paying for this game. Not the GeoGuessr. Well, listen.
Nothing beats a cool, refreshing sip of water.
Thank you. We're about to...
Nothing beats a cool, refreshing sip of water.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
Nothing beats a cool, refreshing sip of water.
I gotta take, like, baby sips. Because I know what Ryan's about to do.
Nothing beats a cool, refreshing sip of water.
Yep. Uh-oh. Alright. Well, listen. I just gotta take the baby sips. Well, I guess the bridge is. Baby sips. Baby sips. Sev about to die from drinking too much water. You can do that, though. Right? Like, if you, like, ingest too much water, you'll, like, go into a coma and, like, die. Right? So, when they say drink water, they mean please drink responsibly. Treat it like alcohol. Water's great, but in moderation, children. In moderation, otherwise you'll die. Otherwise you'll have the big sleep. Right, let's go. Phew. This is New York. I know it's New York. We're on the fucking Golden Bridge, chat. I know it. Right, we gotta go to New York City. Right here. Give it to me, babe. No! Ah, that was such a loss. That was such a misread. No, it is. It is. I'm fucking dumb, chat. I'm actually stupid. I was too late. You were too late, chat. You gotta tell me these things. Listen, I know that the Lions Stadium is in Berlin, okay? So, like, I'll know what it is. I'll know where it is when we see it. I'll just go to Rome. I'll go to Rome. And then we'll get no damage, alright? We'll get no damage. Actually, we'll get we'll get negative damage, alright? Proximity to Lake Michigan, particularly... Listen. I'm a bona fide Midwesterner. I know all about this stuff. Alright, we gotta go to... Let's go to Miami. We'll be the only good part of Florida, chat. Welcome to Miami. Welcome to Miami. Dive into the sizzle of sun, surf, and vibrant culture where the waves whisper tales of history and the skyline hums with modernity. And the streets scream of human rights violations.
Hello, Mario.
Hello, Lumi. How you doing? South Beach. Stretching along Miami's coast, South Beach is where the ocean meets Art Deco and a dance of vibrant colors and lively streets. It's not just a beach. It's a slice of the city's soul with sun-kissed sands and a nightlife that turns the volume up on any ordinary evening. Here, every sunset is a canvas and every sunrise a promise of new adventure. What iconic street is known for its sunset... Fuck. Ocean Drive. That's fucking California, Stev. That's California. Miami Vice. I'm okay, Stev. I hope you're doing well. Smug. Are you saying that you know all this, Lumi? The Freedom Tower stands as a testament to Cuban integration. Freedom Tower has elements borrowed from which Let's say Big Ben. God damn it. Museum and Gardens. Originally built as. This looks like a cathedral. Come on. I can't win with this, chat. I did not get a single question right. Okay, can I, like, do a thing, please? Alright, we got... Right. We're gonna do a bridge again. I'm gonna guess Korea. I don't know. Listen, chat. Don't ask me why. Oh, I'm so right! I'm so right, chat! Watch this. Watch this, chat. Watch this shit. Korea. No! God damn it! No! I'm actually dumb. I'm still stupid. I was so confident too. I was so confident. Where the heck is this? What is this place? Minute. Restaurant bio.
Hello, Mario.
Fruits and legumes. Chat, we need to figure this out in fucking Europe. Oh, I was so... Chat! I actually was close. I was actually, like, a little close there. Wow. Alright, chat. I'm gonna need your help in this next one, okay? But first, we gotta go do more German. I'm gonna learn more German, chat. But no, chat, like, what are some, like, actually, like, good John Cena matches? Like I said, Cena versus Umaga. At the Royal Rumble, I think that is probably, like, the ultimate go-to, right? Either that or his match with Styles. At SummerSlam, I think it was? Was it SummerSlam?
Amerika.
Cool. Deutschland.
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 Oi.
Oi.
Oh. Oh. Oi.
Oi. Oi.
In Amerika. In
America. Love him or hate him, but Cena seems like a nice guy in real life. He does. He seems incredibly down to earth. I mean, like, you know, I don't know him personally.
Berlin ist in Deutschland.
I realized with the recent news of Vince being unsurprisingly shitty, that may be kind of a not popular take. But, you know, he genuinely seems like really down to earth.
Berlin ist in Deutschland.
There you go.
In Deutschland.
In Germany. Hallo, ein wunderschönen guten Morgen, euch allen. Einen wunderschönen guten Morgen. I am wonderful?
In Kanada.
Okay, cool. Well, that's easy enough.
Kanada.
Kanada.
Ist Frankfurt in Kanada?
Nein. Frankfurt ist in Deutschland.
Ist Kanada klein?
Is Canada...
Klein.
Oh boy, brother, no. Nein. In fact. Nein, natürlich.
Ist Amerika klein? Ist Amerika klein?
Ist Deutschland klein?
Is Germany small? I mean, comparatively, yes.
Kanada ist wunderbar.
Canada is wonderful. Wunderbar. Okay.
Amerika.
Yeah, I'd say Cena's match with Styles at SummerSlam is pretty high up there. Would you say that his first match with The Rock would be? Would be one of them? We could also do Cena versus Rob Van Dam at One Night Stand too.
Wunderbar.
Ist Amerika klein?
Amerika ist wunderbar.
I'll give German this. A lot of words. Pretty easy to remember. At least, like, when you hear them, you'll be able to, like, know what they're thinking. Hey, Logos! It's been a while since I've seen you here. I'm glad that our time zones were able to match up, even though I think you and I live in more or less similar time zones. How you doing, bud? We are flipping between Duolingo and GeoGuessr tonight. Let me check GeoGuessr here real quick. I think we got time for one more German thing. I liked his match with The Rock, but he was in his bag against Styles for no reason. He really was. That was like Cena, like at his very, very best. Oh yeah, Logo. So I'm talking about the matches I'm going to be showing you, Phoenix, and the others on Sunday. You know, unless you're... I mean, that is if you plan on showing up. If you don't, then that's okay. We live in the same time zone. Guten Morgen. Guten Abend. Blarg. Don't worry.
Österreich.
In Austria. In what now?
Österreich.
In Österreich. In Österreich. In Österreich. Österreich.
Ist Wien groß?
Is
Wien.
Vienna big? I don't think so. It sounds like ostrich, chat.
Typ.
There you go. I'm understanding the differences between the O sounds, chat. I'm getting smart. I'm getting an absolute genius pilled over here.
Thai.
Vienna.
Wien.
Yeah, chat. Speaking of wrestling, much myself, but I thought I'd watch while I grind in Pokemon, LOL. Well, I appreciate you choosing to hang around with us while you grind, bud. Really, really appreciate that. I'm still a little salty that Mark Henry never got the championship win over Cena. I'm gonna shower real quick, but I may chat later. Okay, bud. I mean, like, you literally just had a stream, like, and you fucking stuck around for, like, a whole hour after that. You are more than okay to go and do your own thing. It would have been okay if you just, like, raided and then ran. But, yeah. Wine ist der Hauptstadt. Hauptstadt. Which Pokemon game? I love the vibes. These are the vibes we have on a chill night. On these Fridays where we just kind of hang around and we just kind of talk about whatever.
Kaffee.
But yeah, like, right now, it seems like we're going to be doing 4 matches. We're going to be doing Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc 97. We're going to be doing Cena versus Styles at SummerSlam 2016, I think it was, or 2017. We're going to be doing Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland at Full Gear 2023. And then we're going to be doing Will Ospreay versus Josh Alexander from a recent episode of Impact. Currently Pokemon Gold, but I'm doing that to take a break from grinding Pokemon Moon. LOL. I don't like Sun and Moon much, but I want to complete the regional decks before Banks shuts down. Isn't that some shit to, like, stop playing one Pokemon game because you're tired of it, and then filling in the gaps with another Pokemon game? By the way, for everyone that's here right now, for everyone that's kind of joined us so far, I want to say that I've got new emotes. I've got my own little tism here. We got the Bouncy Boy, we got the Static Boy, and that's available to all of the Twitch subscribers, along with all of my emotes here. I'm going to be redoing some of my emotes to include the Lucha Mask, and I'm going to be taking advantage of some of the new sub slots. So yeah. If you want those, feel free to sub. I would really appreciate it. And even if you can't, I just appreciate you being around here. This has been very fun so far. Let's go.
Ist Wien in Österreich?
Ist Wien in Österreich.
Ist Deutschland groß oder klein?
One more thing, chat, though, before we continue on. Tomorrow, we are going to be watching the Royal Rumble in my Discord server. We're going to be watching the Royal Rumble 2024 in the Discord server with the Longboy Clubhouse community. If you want to watch it and you haven't done the great act of joining the Discord server yet, now is the time to do so, chat. Now is the time to do so. Come on by, watch the show with like-minded wrestling fans, and yeah, just have a fun time with us. Have a fun time with us. I would really, really love to have as many people there as possible, frankly. Because watch-alongs with my community are some of the most fun I have on any given week. We always have a boatload of fun, whether we're watching ponies, whether we're watching wrestling, whether we're watching just like YouTube videos and shit like that. It's always just a lot of fun, you know? Is Germany big or... Oh.
Woher kommst du?
Where?
Woher?
Where are... Where do you come from? Right? Cool. Hallo, Tom. Woher kommst du?
Guten Tag, ich bin Lukas.
Aus Deutschland. I will say we've been having a lot of fucking fun in this fucking chat tonight, y'all. I really, really appreciate y'all being here. I'm just kind of hanging out like while I do edutainment stuff. Hallo, woher kommst du? I hope I'll get the chance to jump into the Discord watch along. I'll mainly be watching it with my brother. Well, hey, man. However you watch it, tomorrow's going to be fucking interesting. For more reasons than one.
Woher kommst du? Hallo, woher kommst du? Hallo, woher kommst du?
Hello, where are you from?
Ist Österreich groß oder klein?
Is Austria big or small? German's different sentence structures start coming into play around here. Shit really does a number on your mind. Listen, I'm learning that right now because unlike Spanish, in where there are masculine and feminine terms of phrase for certain words, and there's like logic to them, German just does whatever the fuck it wants, you know? Like, Duolingo outright says that there's no real reason for certain things being the way they are. That's just how it is. And you need to, and it's more easy to remember the words not as word, but more as the word, right? Like remembering, you know, not just the word itself, but the form of the that comes before it. And that. They're like Phoenix and Doc Anubis showed me like a video yesterday. It's like the same video like I already talked about, but like it said there were like 16 different words for that. There is, honestly, which is fair since English does similar things, but on its own. But heck, does it make it harder to learn? LMAO. No. I mean, like right now we are like English speakers finding out how hard it is to learn English, you know?
Guten Abend, ich bin Anna.
How the fuck did we learn any of this? Hello, woher kommst du? Ist
Österreich. Groß.
gross. I'm not gross, chat. You are. 16 words for that is insane. It is. And the further I go down in this, the more insane it's gonna get.
Ist. Wien.
In
Österreich.
is Vienna in Austria? Is it? It is. It is. Ja. Sure is. See, chat? Now this is how we're playing GeoGuessr. Anyways. Let's go back to this. Phew. Let's go, chat. Birmingham. This is fucking Birmingham, chat. I'm so smart. Watch me go. Fuck. Yeah, baby! Let's go! Woo! Alright, hold on. Hold on. This isn't the appropriate music for this. We gotta set the tone. We gotta do the tone, chat. Fuck yeah. Spanish-speaking country. Regiones. I need a flag, chat. Spain. Chat saying Spain. Where the frick is Spain? There he is. But it's in Madrid. Let's see. Close enough. Let's go. Alright, chat, we can finish this level. Restaurants. Wine store. Spanish-speaking country. Alright, let's do it. Nice. I'm not doing another one of those. I don't want it. Religious places. Shit. I need that bus back. Maybe I don't. Ah.
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Rolls on. That's way far. Shit. All right, chat. Let me figure out this one on my own here. Let me figure out this one here. Let me figure out this one here. I want to figure out this one here. Okay, we got a bridge. Got a bridge. Rome. I'm the fucking greatest. I know how to read signs, chat. Proud? Religious places. Let's do a tower. What is this? Fuck. No. Fucking, you. That was so far off the grid. That was so far off the grid. Shit.
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Taking massive damage. Hey, welcome back to Raw. Alright, got some more German. Shit. Alright, well, okay. Yeah, chat. Let's see here. We'll say that German songs are actually an incredible way to learn German. And they'll be a good litmus test for when I eventually get to that point. There's one that I liked on TikTok like a while ago. Let me go ahead and find it for you here. I will say that children's songs in German are actually like a little unhinged. This one is about parrots and the police.
Ich habe einen kleinen Papagei. Der macht den ganzen Tag ganz viel Geschrei. Sein großer Schnabel, der steht niemals still. Er macht immer das nur, was er will. Sagt Hallo, Kokoko, einfach so, Kokoko, im Büro, Kokoko, auf der Straße sowieso, morgens früh, Kokoko.
Look at this. Hold on.
Ganz verschärft, Kokoko, Mann, das nervt,
Kokoko. They literally legislated the parrots.
Der flog auch einmal hin zur Polizei. Der Polizist, der schrieb ein Protokoll. Und der Papagei dann gar nicht toll. Einfach so, Kokoko, im Büro, Kokoko, auf der Straße sowieso, morgens früh, Kokoko, abends spät, Kokoko, ganz verschärft, Kokoko, Mann, das nervt, Kokoko.
Okay, like okay, so like I actually want to like look at these lyrics, right?
Ich habe einen
I have a little parrot. Parrot.
der macht den ganzen Tag
He shouts a lot all day long. Shouts a lot.
Schnabel, der steht
His big beacon never stands still. Never still.
macht immer das
He always does what he wants. What he wants. He says hi.
einfach so,
Just like that. In the office. In the street. Anyway. Early in the morning. Late in the evening. All intense. Man, that's annoying.
Kleiner, süßer, frecher Papagei.
Papagei.
Der flog auch einmal hin
I love. I'm not gonna lie, chat. I love the one that's like a little banana. Look at him. Now, that's a bean. Yeah, that parrot needed arresting.
Der flog auch einmal hin zur Polizei. Der Polizist, der schrieb ein Protokoll.
The police wrote a protocol, chat. They wrote a protocol. They are now Congress. You know? They're now Congress. If they don't like parrots, fuck them. Ban them. Get them off the street. Off the street. What are they doing except sucking away tax dollars?
Das fand der Papagei.
He did not find it great.
Sagt Hallo, Kokoko.
I love. Hold on.
Dann gar nicht toll.
I love how this one makes it look like the bird's flipping off.
Sagt Hallo, Kokoko. Einfach so, Kokoko. Im Büro, Kokoko. Auf der Straße sowieso. Morgens früh, Kokoko. Abends spät, Kokoko. Ganz verschärft, Kokoko. Mann, das nervt, Kokoko.
Cool. This whole page is like. This whole page has like a few of them, right? It's got like a few of these kind of like children's songs, right? Now, if only I could find them here. But it looks like this guy has a lot of TikToks. They're influencing the kids. Oh, what? The parrots are influencing the kids? That's fucked up. That's pretty fucked, all things considered. What are they doing? What are they doing to the kids? One must not even perish the thought. You must not even perish the thought, chat. Otherwise, you will end up behind the bars with them.
Frankreich.
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 Die Stadt.
The
Stadt.
city or town.
Stadt.
Stadt.
Rück. Ruck. Rück.
Ruck. Ruck. Okay, so like the U without the little dots above, that's more of kind of like a traditional sound. Whereas with the dots, more like a sound.
Emme. Om.
Okay.
Eine Stadt. Eine Stadt.
A city.
Aus Kanada. Aus.
From Canada.
In München.
In
München.
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 Cool.
Kommst du aus Frankreich?
Do you come from France? No.
München.
München ist ein Stadt. Die Stadt ist
Groß.
groß.
München ist in Deutschland.
Is in Germany.
Ich komme aus Berlin.
I
Komme.
come from Berlin.
Ich komme aus Deutschland.
I come from Germany.
Woher
Deutschland.
kommst du?
Ich komme aus Frankreich.
Die Stadt.
Stadt.
Ich
Ich
komme
komme
aus
aus Amerika. Aus Amerika. Ich komme aus Amerika. Getting it, chat. I'm getting the smarts. How much time until we have until another Till another GeoGuessr. Okay. I feel like we can chat a little bit before then. Ugh. So, like, chat. I will say that... Fortnite is getting a little bit based. It's getting more based because, as we probably expected, there's more Family Guy stuff coming to it. Which means that once again they're locking the main character of something behind a battle pass, which is pretty shitty. But in exchange, oh, shit, hold on. Fortnite chicken. But in exchange, we get the chicken guy. We get the giant chicken from Family Guy. And you know what? This right here makes the most sense in the world. It makes the most sense in the world. Because, well, for one thing, you already got Peter in there. And two, like, in terms of a combat game like this, it makes the most sense. But, like, my question is, why the fuck is Peter buff, but yet the chicken gets to keep his anatomy, right? Why does he get to keep his anatomy while Peter needs to, the Hogan juice, right? They're scared of a buff chicken, chat. Tim Sweeney is scared of a buff chicken. He doesn't know what that'll do for sales. Hogan juice, lol. He's got to get on the Hogan vitamins and prayers, you know? Much like how Peter Griffin did to get into Fortnite. And of course, the Hulk Hogan juice being years old slurp. I do enjoy how in the Peter Griffin reveal they kept it to, like, no spoken word in order to keep with, like, the canon of Fortnite, because in canon none of the characters you play as can actually speak with each other. They're just husks. Anyways, chat. Let's go. We can do beaches. I'm sure we can. Shit, I can't do beaches. God damn it. Let's see here. Shit. Comtat. Parc de la... I'm going to say... Is there a flag? Is there a flag around here that I can look at? I want to say Spain, chat. I want to say Spain. You know what? I'm going to say it. Hulk Hogan injectable vitamins. Now coming to a store near you. I don't think this is... It might be, though, chat. It might fucking be. It might be that. It might be Brazil. But, of course, it might also be Spain. Let's check it. Okay, good. Good. I didn't do entirely terrible there. Let's go. The injectable vitamins. And the dosable prayers. The capsuled prayers. Pizza. This is a museum. Autobus. Okay, this is another Spanish-speaking country. Orient Cafe. Fast and Furious shirt. Let's see. Hold on. Holy crap. Burger King looking like ancient there. You know what? Yeah. gonna say Spain again. Oh, I was close, chat. Ah, but I'm almost dead. I'm almost dead, chat. Level complete. Okay, do I get a health upgrade? Can I get my health back? No. Okay, good. 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 I'm gonna go ahead and claim these cards here. Deco houses. Take out the trash. Cool. Go ahead and fly. Fly to New York, chat. Fly with me to New York. In New York City. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Big Apple, where skyscrapers touch the heavens and the subway never sleeps. Statue of Liberty, iconic. Times Square, flashy. Little known fact, the New York Public Library has over 50 million items. Start reading, folks. What is the Statue of Liberty made of? It's made out of copper. Bam. In which neighborhood is the Empire State located? Queens. Fuck. What type of animal is often associated with Central Park's famous zoo, despite not actually being native to the park? Penguins. Yes, I knew it! I got 2 right, chat. Let's go. Finally. I got something on these little brochures, right? Alright. Beaches. Let's go. Another Spanish-speaking country. This is Mexico. But where in Mexico? I'm going to say... here. Ah! So close. Ow! Ow! Stadium. I can do it. I can do... 30-second stadium. The Barclays Arena. No. This is not an English-speaking country. Do not be fooled by that. Don't be fooled by that. Wait, maybe it is. It is! It's New York, chat! It's New York! It's New York! It's New York, chat! No! Shit! I was thrown off, chat. I was thrown off. I was thrown off by the fucking... I was thrown off by the Barclays Center. The Barclays Center is in New York, chat. Is it not? It is. It is, though. Oh, but there's probably more than one Barclays Center.
Hello, Mario.
There's more than one Barclays Center. Hey, Ashley, how you doing? Welcome to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting, where we are chilling out with some Duolingo and some GeoGuessr.
Wien ist laut. Wien
is loud?
Laut.
Laut. Laut.
Wien ist cool.
Vienna is cool, chat. Is that like cool as in cold? Or just cool as in, yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Tap.
I'll be honest, chat. I think that by the time I go to Galacon, I'll be a master at this language. I'll be a bona fide ace at it. I'll be a bona fide ace at it, chat. Just you watch.
München ist sehr cool.
Is very cool. How cool was that?
Ist Wien teuer?
Is... No.
Teuer.
Teuer. Oh nein. Paris ist sehr teuer.
Berlin ist teuer.
Berlin ist teuer.
Wien ist aufregend.
Is
Aufregend.
Exciting. German isn't particularly difficult compared to most languages. Yeah, but like the structure and just kind of like, you know, writing out correct
Berlin
German,
ist sehr aufregend.
I can
Berlin
see it
ist
getting a little
sehr
tough.
aufregend.
I can see it getting a little tough as time goes on. It's already getting pretty tough.
Wie ist es in Wien?
Vienna. Wait. Is Vienna in... No. Is it... No.
Wie?
What is it like in Vienna? Nice.
Wie ist es in New York?
What is it like in New York? Well, Logos, how is it like in New York, bud? I have a couple friends from New York, but I wanna hear it from you. Yeah, I'm planning on visiting Japan next year, and I'm dreading trying to learn a little Japanese way more than learning German, lol. It's a cinch. It is cold.
Oh, wie ist es in München?
Noted. No way, it's pretty cold over here too. Wow. Wow, what a cool mountain. Die Stadt ist exciting.
Wien ist auch super.
Is
Auch.
Vienna is also great. They just love Vienna so much that they need to like compare every city to it. Hallo, ich bin Anna. Ich
Komme.
komme
Auch.
auch
Aus.
aus
Frankreich.
Frankreich. Ist sehr kalt.
Auch.
Ist auch sehr kalt.
Aus. Auch.
Ist auch sehr kalt.
Auch.
Auch. Why do you keep calling it Vienna and not Vienna? Because I'm dumb and I don't read it right.
Berlin
Berlin
ist
ist
auch
auch laut.
Wien ist
Ist
laut.
laut. Nice. Incredible. Crap, everyone is moving up the totem pole on this fucking... on this leaderboard so fast. So, it's a big brain moment. I don't know, friend. I'm saying Vienna like Vienna. And that's entirely by accident, I promise you. Alright, chat. How far do we have to go in this? Okay,
Nina,
we can do this.
Kommst du aus Frankreich?
Do you come from France? Who are you playing against? A whole lot of different
Ja,
people.
Wien ist in Österreich. Ja, Wien ist in Österreich.
Ist in
Österreich.
Österreich. Are most European countries ending with Reich? Is that just kind of like the German way?
Wie ist es in Wien?
What is it like in Vienna?
Wie ist es in Chicago?
Wie ist
ist
es in Chicago? Well, let's see. It's where CM Punk's from.
Woher kommst du?
It's where the rap den is. And that's it.
Woher?
Where do you come from?
Karl, kommst du aus Frankreich? Kommst du aus Frankreich.
Nice.
Woher kommst du, Karl?
Where do you come from, Carl?
Wie ist es in München? Wie ist es in München? In München.
Nice.
Alex, wie ist es in Berlin? Alex, wie ist es in Berlin?
Berlin ist cool und laut.
Hallo, ich bin Martin.
Guten Morgen. Wait.
Bin.
Guten Morgen. Woher kommst du? Good morning. Where are you from? What a conversational genius. Yeah, chat. I'm playing against like a whole lot of different people here. I'm trying to get up here so I can get into the final league. Right now I'm in Obsidian League, which means I'm like incredibly good. I'm incredibly good and based and shit. So like, yeah. Right now I'm mostly just trying to like get to the final league. And that requires like dedicated effort. Like completing like a lesson here every single day type effort. And also doing it like with level up boosts and stuff like that. You need like a whole lot of just like
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Raw rolls on after this. But yeah, chat. While we're here, I may as well go ahead and quickly tell you a story of a little dream I had. And well, actually no, because like it isn't even like a story. It's just like a weird fucking circumstance, right? It's like everyone is like saying that, especially in light of the documentary, that like Boogie 298 needs to get a real job. Well, in one of my dreams he did, because in my dream, I was like driving a truck for some reason. Don't ask why, I just was. I don't even know why. And it broke down on like in the fucking boonies, right? Like in the middle of absolute nowhere. I called a repairman, and it was fucking Boogie 2988. And he came in to fix my fucking truck. And when we went inside the truck, it was like an RV on the inside. Or rather, like, it was like a whole, like, vacation home on the inside. It was like, you know, like those little boxes that, like, people in Japan will sometimes put, like, on their trucks? Rather, like, on their cars. And they'll, like, drive them around the country. It's like that, but instead of, like, a little box in where, like, a guy sets up, like, a portable stove and, like, cooks, like, their own dinner, it's like a whole vacation home.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. It was it was like a TARDIS type beat going on in there. And like, I don't know. And like just like as the dream went on, it got like smaller and smaller. So like eventually it did become the box, but at one point in time it was like this big decked out vacation home that had like central heating and fucking and like a spacious kitchen and big fuck off TVs and stuff like that. And where does Boogie 298 fit into all this? Literally the only way he does is that he fucking drove up to my truck as a repairman and tried to fix it. I don't know if he was successful or not. I don't remember if he was. But he most certainly tried his best. Maybe. I don't know. Knowing him, I don't really think he did. Castles. Let's go. Castles. Okay, so, with stuff like this, I feel like we're not going to get much of anywhere in like, the States, right? We gotta be able to find Vindhem. How the Listen, if you are just looking these up and just giving them to me, please stop that. Unless you're just, like, actually good, in which case I would like to try and do these on my own here. For, like, a few minutes here. Let's see here. All right. Where's Finland? All right, well, you didn't get that one right, so I guess you are just kind of guessing on there. I don't know. But nonetheless, I would like to try and get a couple of these on my own here. Let's see. Final Fantasy? Oh, well, this is Berlin then. You got that. My dude, I literally just said, please let me get some of these on my own. All right, where is Germany? Where's Berlin? There it is. Hey, nice. Right in the middle. Yo. Yo, damn that F10. Yo, damn that FF10. Absolutely. I'm glad it showed me that it was in Berlin. Okay, I'm leaning towards Mexico here. Let's find this out. I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is in fact that. Mexico City. Let's fucking go. I'm so good. Wow. I did a cool thing, actually. Okay then, and alright, cool. Fantastic. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get a card pack here. Powers touching the sky. Let's go to Montreal.
Hello, Mario.
Do you see the pink taxis? That's a Mexico City exclusive, is it? Well, hey, there you go. Listen. We got it. First fucking try. Anyways, hello there, Sarcasm Cupcakes. How you doing? Welcome to the Long Boy Club here. Welcome to Montreal. A big bienvenue for fans around the world from Montreal, Quebec. Jim Ross with Jerry the King Lawler. What river flows along Old Montreal? Why the fuck did I pick that? Of course it's not there. I'm actually stupid. Which musical performances often occur there? Symphony orchestras. Well, that kind of goes without saying. What sport or activity is often enjoyed on Mount Royal? I'm gonna go ahead and do ice hockey. Shit. Alright, well, hiking and cross-country skiing, that was my first guess, but, like, I just completely whiffed that one. I don't know, chat. I'm really, really enjoying GeoGuessr. I'm really enjoying this. Honestly. It almost makes me want to buy, you know, a full subscription. That way we can just do that. But now we're going to learn how to order at a restaurant. First, may as well go ahead. Just kind of checking with all of you. And just kind of, hold on, I gotta sip my water real quick. And just say, oh, have you ever tried City Guesser? Hey, Sarcasm Cupcakes, thank you for following. You are now a member of the Long Boy Club for life. I appreciate you being here, my friend. Hopefully you enjoy your time here. You will, especially if you like pro wrestling, because I am a big pro wrestling guy. So much so that I'm going to be showing my friends wrestling for kind of the first time on Sunday. I'm going to be showing it to them on Sunday afternoon, and we're going to be showing some of my favorite matches with them. We're going to be showing them Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc 97. We're going to be showing them Cena versus Styles at SummerSlam 2016 or 17. I'm not sure which one it is. We're going to be doing Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland at AEW Full Gear. Oh, please choose Doctor.
Pizza.
Oh no, I don't like that. That's horrible.
Asse.
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 Asse. Asse.
Brot mit Käse. Brot mit Käse.
Käse. Bread with cheese. Yeah. Oh wait, yeah. We're going to be showing those 3 matches as well as Josh Alexander versus Will Ospreay at the last episode of TNA Impact. Because that one was surprisingly probably already one of my favorites of the year. Josh Alexander is fucking incredible. Like, people in WWE thought that Gable Steveson was going to be the next Kurt Angle. Nah. The next Kurt Angle crossed... He crossed the fucking line years ago. And his name is Josh Alexander. And Will Ospreay is Will fucking Ospreay.
Ist der Salat lecker?
His resume speaks for itself. Is the salad delicious?
Salat mit Käse.
Salad with cheese. Yes. A mit.
Der Kaffee ist heiß.
The coffee is hot. That's a real hot coffee pot.
Pizza oder Salat?
Die Pizza mit Käse, bitte. Ja. Der Kaffee ist heiß.
Der Tee ist heiß.
Heiß. Yeah. Sarcasm Cupcakes, how are you? What are you all about, friend? I'd like to get to know new people when they step into the Longboy Club.
Der Kaffee ist heiß. Ja, der Kaffee ist heiß.
Nice. You have any experience with wrestling, for one thing? And if so, what is it? And if not, what are your thoughts on it in general? D. Ka. Wait. Is it? Okay, yeah. Kase. Dia. Visa. Dang it. Ist der Kase lecker? There's City Guesser, which has no restrictions on play. It's video-based, walking through a city. Maybe we'll try that next time. For now, though, I want to get the most out of this, out of this temporary GeoGuessr sub. Because I literally got a temporary sub just for this, and I'm pretty sure that I wasted money. Because because the tier I'm on, it doesn't even give me unlimited play, you know? It doesn't even give me unlimited play. It just takes out ads, I think. It just takes out the ads. But, you know, it's kind of shitty. Because when you pay for something, you would hope that you would be able to play it for, like, however much you want. The GeoGuessr doesn't agree with my worldviews.
Hier ist das Sandwich.
Oh, gut. Danke.
Das Mineralwasser ist lecker. Das Mineralwasser ist lecker. Ist lecker.
When has mineral water ever been good, though, chat? I'm genuinely asking. When has mineral water or, like, vitamin water been good? I mean, you just melt down a whole fucking popsicle, and there you go. That's what you get. That's That's like the whole...
Hello, Mario.
That's like the whole shindig, you know? I want to stream this game. Commence flashbacks to my girlfriend calling me an orange cat because it thought Quebec was in Mexico. I don't want to stream this game. I mean, listen. I thought that the Golden Gates Bridge was in New York, so you know, it's okay. Her and I can both be dumb fucks together. We can be both completely lost in the world. We'll just... No, it's not! The Golden Gates Bridge is not in New York, is it? Hold on. Golden Gates Bridge. Yeah, no, it's not. It's in California. It's in California. Quebec sounds Mexican. No, it doesn't. It sounds French. Quebec sounds French, right? It's in San Francisco. It's definitely... Listen, Logos. I don't live in New York, okay? I know New York has big fuck-off bridges. But so does California, okay? I thought that that particular big fuck-off bridge was in New York and not in San Francisco. That was literally one of the first things that we did on GeoGuessr tonight. I got the location of the Golden Gates Bridge wrong.
Hier ist ein Ei.
And this is why, Queso, Quebec, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's not how it works, Paradox. It's in San Francisco. It is. It is, actually. Chat, are we all just dumb fucks together? Are we all just big dummies? The Long Boy Club is now the Dum Dum Club, chat. I don't make the rules. All of us do. Alright? Because with our powers combined, we may be able to come up with a good idea.
Ein Mineralwasser.
We'll combine our brains and we'll become like Jimmy Neutron. Right? And together we will collectively have a brain blast. Shit! Ein is not the, it is a.
Das Mineralwasser, das Wasser.
Hier ist ein Sandwich.
Hier ist ein sandwich. Let Paradox cook. Cook with what? Queso? Actually, can you do that? I like cheese. I like cheese, chat. That's true, LOL. That's so funny you thought that. Listen, it's funny, right? It's funny, but it's a bit of a blow to the ego. I won't deny. I won't deny, chat. It's a little bit of a blow to the ego, you know? Egg. Ist. Klug. Dang it! The egg is not smart. The egg is not smart, chat. Now here's one. Now here's a guy that's not going to be able to fucking contribute to the brain blast. Alright? The egg will not be able to contribute. Big brain egg. Das.
Ei.
Ei. Das. Brot. Brot.
Das Ei ist lecker.
I'll be able to order an egg on toast when we go to Galacon, Logos. I'll order that egg on toast like no one's ever ordered egg on toast in their entire lives.
Hier ist ein Mineralwasser.
And when the waiter hears me say it, they will be floored, astounded by the Americans' comprehension of German. And they'll make sure that that egg is scrambled. And that bread is browned completely. Why? Why learn any more even? Exactly. I'll like survive on like eggs and toast when we go to Germany. Here is a mineral water.
Ein.
They just give it to you. Like without even asking. I love queso. So do I, actually. Okay, so chat. So question. What's like a better chip dip, right? What's better? Salsa or queso? It's gotta be salsa or it's gotta be queso, but it can't be sour cream. It can't be sour cream, chat. Because that's an incorrect answer.
Hier. Die. Das.
Right? Yeah, let's go, dude. Let's go. I'm so good at this.
Meer. Meer.
Hier ist
Das. Der.
Oh, let's go, chat. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Das Ei ist ein Sandwich. Sandwich.
Ein.
No.
Das.
Das Mineral.
Mineralwasser.
Mineralwasser. What?
Mineralwasser.
Mineralwasser.
Hier.
Here is the map.
Das.
Where do you
Ei.
wish to go?
Das Ei ist groß.
The egg is not smart, chat. It's big. Much like Wisconsin. They weren't very smart. That's why they tried to secede from the US. And look what happened to them. They lost at WrestleMania and now they're part of the Union again. Alright, chat. Let's fucking go. We got this. We can do a thing, chat. We can do a thing if we just believe in ourselves. We've been going to a lot of stadiums lately. Let's not do that. Let's go to museums. Swedish Musical Hall of Fame. ABBA the Museum. Alright, do not be fooled. Wait. Maybe. Maybe? Pop House. Alright, chat. For, like, this round here, just, like, let me fail. Alright? Let me fail. Do not give me the answers. I'm actually asking you to not give me answers this time. What is this? Why does this look familiar, though? Enhance image. Mod, can I get someone to time out horn, please? New homes from old. Area closed for your safety. You know what? I'm gonna take a guess. I'm gonna take a guess. Wow! That was insane. Thank you. Alright. Museums. Listen, chat, after this you can talk about how much of a dummy I am. Good for their prices. What the fuck is this? Hmm. Oh man, I'm running out of time. I just need to go for it. Complete shot in the dark, chat. It's gonna be a complete shot in the dark. I'm gonna take a big hit for this. Chicago. No way, I was actually a little close. Wow. I was actually kind of close there. City plazas. I can do this, chat. What's this? Chamber. Okay, it's in Canada. I know that much. But where in Canada? I'm gonna say Calgary. Damn it. It was real far off. Okay, this is a Spanish-speaking country. I'm going to guess Spain. Somewhere in Spain. Come on, Spain. Come on, Spain.
It's time for a 90 seconds minute
Let's go.
Cheetos break, my dudes.
Oh, no! No, it was actually further away. We're almost on after this. Dang it. Alright, cool. Hey, we actually did a cool thing. We actually fucking did it. Oh my goodness. Let's go. I would botch all the landmarks. I mean, like, I'm botching all of them too. Really. I'm just, like, going off of, like, context clues. Really. Okay, so, like, if I try to open up a pack here, will that, like, block me off? Let me see here. No, it won't, actually. I can actually do these. Wow. Okay, cool. Alright, now... in the next one, please help me. help me with the next one. Help me with the next one. Let's try and involve a few more people this time around. If y'all have a fucking guess, tell me it. Welcome to Atlanta, y'all. Dive into the city's charm, where history, culture, and southern hospitality meet modern city vibes. Let's explore. What is the largest fish species in the Georgia aquarium? Manta ray. There's literally a manta ray up there!
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. The world of Coca-Cola is a fizzy adventure into the history of the world's most famous soft drink. This multimedia museum offers a captivating journey through Coca-Cola's storied past. Visitors can enjoy interactive exhibits, view a replica of the original soda fountain, and even taste over 100 different beverages from around the world. It's a sweet and effervescent experience, highlighting Atlanta's role in popularizing its iconic beverages. Over 100. Bam. You wouldn't know that if you read the brochure. Atlanta Botanica Garden. Nestled in the heart of Atlanta, the Atlanta Botanical Garden is a lush paradise, spreading across 30 acres. It's a magical blend of art, nature, and conservation, showcasing a wide variety of plants from around the world. The garden's highlights include the enchanting canopy walk, the picturesque Japanese garden, and the fascinating edible garden. Ooh, edible garden, eh? Edibles, I know a thing or two about those. This green haven offers a tranquil escape from the city's rush. What feature does the canopy walk offer? Is entirely underwater. No. Hanging above the ground. Let's do transparent floor. Dang it. I should have known. Like, canopy is like hanging above the ground. How did I not know that? Whatever. Yeah, shit, chat. Look at this. Look at our passport here. We are now legal citizens in Chicago, Miami, New York, Atlanta, and Montreal. Those 5 cities only. Everywhere else, we're not allowed to exist. We will be forced out of there with prejudice and taken back to one of these 5 cities. We just don't have it in us, chat. We just don't have the fight in us to continue that. But no, I mean, like, you're looking at me, right? Like, I'm fucking terrible at this. I'm terrible at this game. But, like, I could have sworn that there was, like, Twitch integration, right? Or am I just misremembering? Am I just misremembering it? Or is there actually, like, Twitch integration? Because, like, I could have sworn there was. Yeah, anyways. Let's go ahead and do some more of this here, then. Why don't we? Hopefully y'all have been enjoying the vibes tonight. I appreciate you all hanging around for as long as you have. It really, really, really means a lot to me. We're creeping up on about 2 hours here. Twitch integration would be interesting. It would be. Like, again, I could have sworn, like, it's already a thing. Is it not? Is it not already a thing? If it's not, then they need to make it a thing. Of course. Wait, there is? There is? So wait, there is actually Twitch chat integration. Where is it then? Hold on. I'm gonna start another German lesson here. This will be the last kind of node that we do for tonight.
Restaurant.
Restaurant. Ist that.
Wo ist das Salz?
Where is the...
Das.
Now, I meant, of course, in response to saying thank you. Oh. Well, yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you all being here. Again, if you haven't done so already, I would appreciate a follow. And, not only that, I don't know anything about Twitch integration for GeoGuessr, lol. Well, you can know about this. We're watching the Royal Rumble in my Discord server tomorrow. We're watching the Royal Rumble 2024 live in my Discord server tomorrow. I'm going to be sharing the event with everyone in a giant stage call. We're going to have a whole lot of fun as we watch the men's Royal Rumble match, the women's Royal Rumble match, the world title Fatal 4-Way, and much more. If you haven't joined the Discord yet and would like to join a fun community of wrestling games and other such nonsense, now is the best time to do it. Because tomorrow, once again, we will be watching the Royal Rumble, and I'd appreciate it if you all joined. I'd appreciate it if you all joined in. Hello. Oh, hey, Devin. Devin just joined. Nice. Yes. But yeah, if that sounds fun to you, I'd appreciate you joining us. genuinely, the Discord watch-alongs are some of my favorite times of any week, right? Like, we always have so much fun. We always laugh a lot. We always cry a lot. we always end up finding new appreciations for things. And yeah, it's just a really cool, chill, fun, and funny environment. If that sounds fantastic to you, join the Discord server.
E.
2 E's.
Entschuldigung, der Tee ist kalt.
Entschuldigung.
Entschuldigung. Entschuldigung, der Tee ist kalt.
Entschuldigung. Entschuldigung.
Entschuldigung, der Tee ist
Entschuldigung. Entschwei or entschwei?
Entschuldigung, der Tee ist kalt.
Entschuldigung. Entschuldigung.
Entschuldigung, der Tee ist kalt.
Der Tee. Entschuldigung. 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 Right? Entschuldigung. I can't do it. I can't do it, chat. I can't fucking do it. Entschuldigung. Entschuldigung. Schul?
Entschuldigung.
Der Tee ist hot. No.
Entschuldigung, der Tee ist kalt. Ist.
Der Tee ist kalt.
Ist. Kalt.
Entschuldigung.
Entschuldigung, wo ist das Restaurant?
Restaurant. You see, where is the restaurant? Hallo. Hier ist die
Speisekarte.
Speisekarte. Speisekarte. Speisekarte, chat.
Entschuldigung, die Pizza ist kalt.
Excuse me. The pizza is cold. We got 22 more seconds.
Die Speisekarte ist hier.
Here. It's here. It's arrived. Salz.
Die
Die Pizza ist kalt. Das
Sandwich
Sandwich ist lecker. It's liquor, chat.
Hier ist das Salz.
Much like how father is a farter. Vater. Farter, chat. Here is the the salt. Z is a ts sound in German. Salz.
Salz.
Salz. Meanwhile, S is a Z sound. Salz. Here is das, or it kind of is. Kind of is. Sophie the Soft. Hello there. Hello there. Welcome to the Long Boy Club. You're now a member of it for life. Hopefully you're doing well tonight. At the beginning and at the beginning and the end of words, but when it's in the middle, it's not. Right? Right? Is that it? Is that right, chat? Oh, always. Oh. Okay, so like S, or Z has a TS sound at the beginning and the end of words, but S has a Z sound always? Is that what I'm getting at? Is that what you're getting at? A Z is always TS, like in pizza. Okay. Pizza. Think. I'll hear it more. I'll hear it more. Wo ist
das Kellner der
Dang it. Okay, it's das Restaurant. And der Kellner?
Kellner
Yeah. Kellner.
Wo ist der Kellner?
Kellner. 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 Entschuldigung. CH on its own is normally the guttural sound. If you want a sh sound, it's sh. Okay.
Guten Abend, ich bin der Kellner.
Sh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I think so.
Kellner.
Wo ist die Speisekarte? Speisekarte. Wo ist das Restaurante? Right? Okay, cool. All right. We got more places. We got more places. And chat, help me out this time, okay? We're gonna go to bridges. Hopefully we get Golden Gates so I can redeem myself.
Hello, Mario.
Shit, we didn't get Golden Gates. Hello, Funny Joe. How are you doing, my friend? Oh my god, I think a really fun lurk emote. I think that would be like the long boy just like looking under like a ring apron. I think that would be so cute. I just woke up. Well, hello there. I'm glad that you're choosing us to start your day off with. Okay, what the fuck is this? Actually, like what is all this going on here? Clear channel. I'm going to guess that this is an English-speaking city. Hatu. Wait, maybe it isn't. No, it's not. It's not. There's a few times the city name is posted here. Oh, is it? Let's see here. There's gotta be like... Am I actually just stupid? I'm gonna be actually fucking dumb if I can't get this. There are a few times that the city's name is posted. Keep clicking. Okay. Am I really just gonna get this one here? Oh my gosh, I'm the most oblivious person on planet Earth, probably. Please let it be here. I genuinely don't even, like even if I see it, I'm not gonna be able to, not gonna be able to get it. Shit. One of them is on a taxi. Okay. I think I saw a taxi. Right here-ish? Right? Oh. Wait. Tilinsky. Okay. Now, chat. You're going to see... Wait, I actually got it. Wow. I actually got the location. Good. Good. I was about to say it looks Scandinavian. Religious places. Let's do it. Oh no. I'm gonna botch this one again, chat. Look. Let's watch. Shadow Tours. Wait. What the heck is this quality? Bus behind you. Okay. Need to get back up to daytime. What the heck was that quality, chat? I missed the bus, chat. I'm not gonna be able to get it. I missed the bus. It's not gonna happen. Okay, well, like, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna take a big old stab in the dark. Click the flag. Flag. Can I get, like, more time, please? Next to the settings. Oh! Wait, you can do that? Oh! Oh! Okay. Finland, again. It's in Turku, Finland. Yes? Or is that not a city? Is that not a city, chat? Yes, it is. Yes, let's go. Let's go. Let's fucking go, chat. We can do one more. We can do one fucking more. I think. Stadiums. Let's do it. It's tour bus. Yeah, okay. Homes for Haringey. Okay, so this is an English-speaking country, it looks like. Oh! Okay. So this is a European one, I think. At least depending on the currency up there. What sign... What, like, currency sign is this, chat? That's pounds. Okay. Well, it's probably going to be in Britain. But where in Britain is it? Let's see here. Let's see. Friday. We got a stadium here. What's the stadium? No, we're going away from this. What the fuck? Okay, we're good. Stay up to date with what's on. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That's a London bus. It's in London then, probably. Let's check it. Where's London? Dublin. And Tottenham is a London team. Okay. Heck yeah, dude. Let's go. Cool. I need water, chat. I'll be right back. Give me a second. While I go get water, I'll let like an ad play real quick.
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes. Om nom nom, oh excuse me, we're back my dudes.
Welcome back, chat. Welcome back to all of you. We are currently about 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours into the stream at this point. It is getting a little late, so I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be going for, but I do want to at least finish up this little section of lessons here in Duolingo before Jesus Christ. Holy crap. That thing's actually like louder than I think it's gonna be. Wow. I put that in under the assumption that one of these days I'll play Resident Evil 7 in VR. And when people start redeeming that, like after a long time, I may have some feelings. I may want to reach through the TV screen and just, you know, give you a piece of my mind, right? I just want to reach through the computer screen or the TV or your phone or whatever the heck. Take you by the face, pull you in, and give you a stern talking to or something like that. Because that, my friend, would be sadistic. But then again, I put it there anyway, so really, who else is to blame but myself? Let's see here.
Ist das Essen gut?
9. Die Wurst ist kalt.
Das Schnitzel ist lecker.
Das Schnitzel ist lecker. Is delicious. It's delicious, chat.
Wo ist das Schnitzel? Wo ist? Wo ist das Schnitzel?
Das Schnitzel. Where is the Schnitzel?
Ook.
Rada.
Ook.
Ook.
Das Schnitzel ist kalt.
Die Pizza ist zu groß. Pizza ist zu groß.
Gross. No. Listen. Is the pizza tall, chat? Is the pizza tall?
Za.
Because if it is, then it isn't. Because I'm not nasty, okay? I'm not nasty. I spray Old Spice on my body every day and I walk around the house with socks on. There's no way. No way I can be gross, alright? I'm well kempt. I'm a well kempt long boy. Tall and big is the same word in German. I know, chat, that was part of the joke. It was part of the joke, okay. I'm further along than you may think. I'm a sharper tool in the shed than you may imagine. Bonk.
Za. Za.
Married to a German, been listening to German music since 2001.
Za. 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 Za.
Okay, so...
Za.
Za.
Das Essen ist zu kalt. Das Essen ist zu kalt.
Essen?
Oh nein, das Brot
Oh
ist
no.
zu lecker.
The bread is too delicious. Do you guys have that problem over there? Is this like a common occurrence? Is the bread too tasty in Germany? Wurst. Oh, big Bratwurst.
Die Wurst ist lecker. Danke.
Germans are obsessed with bread. Well, that's one thing we have in common, you know? Americans are also just overtly obsessed with carbs. Get it all in us. All of it. The sausage is delicious. Thank you. Yes, yes it is. Oh, giraffe. LOL. Up car. Oh, giraffe. Look up Liam Carps on YouTube or TikTok. Liam Carps. Okay. Hold on. What is this? Oh, is this like a little... Is this kind of a TikTok guy? Here? Englishman living in Germany. Alright. Being honest in German. Hold on. First, let's go ahead and let's...
Der.
It's der das. Let's go. Phew. Makes videos about culture shock that are hilarious. That's awesome. Let's do it.
Natürlich.
Of course. Here is the check. Hier ist die Rechnung. Rechnung. Die Rechnung. Bitte. Cool. Alright, we can We can do GeoGuessr again, but first, let's check out some of these.
I'm starving. Guten Appetit. What do you think? So it's edible. Very. Now good. We can have this more often then. Look, there's David Hasselhoff. There. False alarm. Oh, that was quick. Oh, it was really good. There is more sauerkraut. I will get you some.
Pickled cabbage.
Here you go. What's the matter? I don't like it. Why didn't you just say that? I didn't want to hurt your feelings. Feelings? You know, I didn't
Why is it muted?
want you to get upset.
It's just really quiet. Hold on.
Hey, you're right,
Hold on.
mate.
Go ahead and...
What
The
is it?
fuck? It shouldn't be muted. Hold on. Oh no, it's just extremely quiet. Well, hold on. Let's go ahead and go to TikTok then. He's on TikTok, yeah. I don't know why it was like so quiet there all of a sudden.
In Germany, we don't say. Could you please shut the car door a little bit quieter next time? We say. Das ist kein Panzer. In Germany.
What?
In
Translation, that's not a tank.
In Germany, we don't say. Will you be my Valentine? We say. Und?
Just a complete lack of reading the room. Awesome. What is this?
Hey, you're right, mate.
First time drinking.
This time. Do you have any juice? Which sort of juice? Oh, you know, the ones with fruits in them. I think we have some Apfelschorle in the fridge. Ah, thanks. So, ich muss zum Arzt gehen. Is this just normal apple juice then? Yes, but mixed with sparkling water. Ew, why does everything need to be sparkling here? What was that? Nothing. Well, here goes nothing.
But the funny thing is, it's sparkling apple juice. I'm not a fan. The funny thing is, my friends literally like sent me like a thing to specifically ask for water that's not sparkling, because apparently it's just so common over there.
This is incredible. Is there any more of this? No, that was the last one. Oh, there's some.
What?
You just wanted it for yourself, didn't you? Wait, stop. What? Nothing. Hat jemand meine Urinprobe gesehen?
Ugh! What the fuck? Ugh! Yeah, because the default to sparkling. Ugh, that's awful though.
In Germany, we don't say. Let's get some fresh air in here. That one. There we go. Much better. We say hello. Oh, you alright, mate?
Just go and do it yourself.
I thought you liked the fresh air. Wir heizen nicht für draußen.
We don't heat for outside.
Oh. Sorry. In Germany, we...
I cough it up. You asked for still water. It is, yeah, I'm literally drinking sparkling water right now. I had to go thirsty so many times because that's all they would give me. And I legit cannot drink sparkling water. I cough it up. Is it like actually like a physical reaction that you have? Hold on.
Wait!
What?
Don't you know that milk products also have fund now?
Really?
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you, but I have to charge. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you, but I have to charge. You want it?
It's when you return your recyclables. Ugh. And you get a voucher for the store.
Happy New Year! Look, I've got you these.
wish you a good slide into
2 years with a German.
So how's the donut?
They do the job.
Isn't that the same program we watched last year?
It's the same program as every year.
Same program as every year then. Wow, these are really cool.
Here's your 58 cents.
What's that? Why are you giving
I don't drink anything carbonated in general. My body is not even slightly accustomed to it and rejects it for real. I throw it up.
Oh, what are those?
1st of January, PF and also has to be on milk bottles.
Didn't have much luck, did it? What does this mean?
It says you would get married soon.
Oh, really?
But I guess it would make sense for tax reasons.
Oh, look at this.
Wait, didn't you read the Brandschutzverordnung?
What?
Go outside.
Oh, okay.
3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Oh. Happy New Year!
Cool. Since... Oh yeah, that's right. You just like don't even drink soda even. Like you just don't really like it all that much.
Hey! Aren't you happy that I'm back home after Christmas?
I will be if you make the train. Come on.
What's the matter?
Delayed by 2 minutes.
That's gonna be fine.
I want to be 5 minutes before the time.
Oh, the train's coming.
Spider. What seat do you have?
What do you mean?
You didn't see the seat.
Oh, I didn't know.
There's a constant between like all the German stuff that I've seen, and it's trains. It's always trains.
Maybe, but this is the more eco-friendly way to travel.
That might be the
Imagine having a good public transit system, chat.
What are you doing?
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me, chat. Couldn't imagine something like that. Could you? Could you?
Well, we made it. Better late than never.
Is it?
Hey!
Oh.
Hello, you two. Hi, Andy.
No! Get out of there. No, it's fine. That's fine. The manufacturer here makes boxed water with added juice. I'm addicted. Why don't you add water to juice? Wouldn't that just like water, literally wouldn't it just water down the flavor? Wouldn't that just make it like shittier? Like if anything, I feel like that would just kind of nullify like the fruits, right? So it's lower in sugar. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's try this again. Some kind of juice is too intense flavor as well. Is there like hardcore juice, chat, over there in Germany? I cannot do tomato juice. Well, yeah, but like tomato's not a fruit, chat. I stand by that. It's not a fruit. Historic Catholic Church. Let's see here. New World. Oh, it's Miami. Right there. Ah, chat. Look at that. Look at that. That's so good. That was so good. Already, we're killing it. Bridges. I don't know why I like Bridget. Well, we know it's at the Tennessee state line. We know that much. But like, where? Okay, gotta get to editing. We literally landed right in front of the answer, chat. That never happens. Okay, I gotta get to editing then. Alright. Alright then, my friend. You go and have fun with editing. Is this like southbound or northbound? So I'm either gonna miss this or I'm gonna totally get it. I missed it. Oh well. It was pretty close though, I think. Oh, I was like so close. I was like right on the fucking line too. I don't know why I didn't choose Memphis. It was like literally on the state line. Whatever. That was like actually just on the state line. Alright. Let's try level 7. Religious places. Let's do it. The line being the Mississippi River. Ah, I see. Okay. Commercial land. Okay. 020. Let's see if we can find a flag. That's Westminster Abbey. Queen Elizabeth II Center. Okay. Okay, well then it's definitely in Europe then. I'm gonna go ahead and try and find this at least on here. London, my sibling. Alright, cool. Great! Fantastic. Historical buildings. Barry. Alright, well we know it's... Right, well we know it's in the US. There's that. Can we find a state flag anywhere? Can we find a state flag? It's on the back of our... It's on the back of one of our notes. On the back... Oh, or notes. Hold on. Hold the fucking phone. Most of us went here in elementary school. We have, like, notes here? I could have sworn that there were notes. Money. Ah, fuck. Okay. Well then, I don't know. Bank notes. Oh. Hmm. What is this place then? It's called Independence Hall. Okay. See, like, I don't want to Google this, right? Because that feels like cheating. Oh, wait, what's this? It kind of defeats the point of the whole thing. Check this out here. Here he is. You know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. Philadelphia. Wow! Wow, let's go, chat! That was so fucking good! I did not expect at all to get that. I did not expect to get that at all. That's crazy. That's actually insane. Wow. Noise of US trucks. You spot a truck with a notably long front or nose. It's a telltale sign you're observing an American design. This characteristic feature distinguishes them from many international counterparts, offering a clue to their origins. Okay then. Let's go to... And we already went to Miami. Oh wait, we need to like pay a price? We already went to New York. Let's go to Dallas. Oh yeah, we gotta like pay like in-game money for this. Once it finished unlocking. Well, hold on. I gotta learn about Dallas first. Howdy, y'all. Dive into the heart of Texas with its sprawling skylines and rich history. Let's explore the iconic landmarks and unravel some fun facts. What nickname is commonly used for the Reunion's Hour? Hold on. Rising 171 meters above the ground, Reunion Tower is an unmistakable feature of the Dallas skyline. This iconic structure offers a 360 degree view of the city from its observation deck. The tower lights up at night, displaying dazzling light shows, making it a beacon in the Dallas skyline. Inside, you'll find interactive exhibits and fine dining, offering a unique blend of education and entertainment. The star. Fuck, the ball. Dang it. Redham and Botanical Garden. The Botanical Paradise showcases a stunning array of flora and themed gardens. The Arboretum, Arboretum, I believe, is famous for its seasonal festivals, educational programs, and artistic installations, with breathtaking views of White Rock Lake and the city skyline. It's a serene escape from the urban hustle. The gardens change with the seasons, offering a fresh experience throughout the year. Arboretum. Okay. Okay. Arboretum. Got it. How much does it cover? It's so big. The Parrott Museum of Nature and Science. The Parrott Museum of Nature and Science, a distinct architectural gem, is dedicated to inspiring minds through nature and science. Its striking angular design is a work of art in itself. While inside, the museum is filled with interactive exhibits and educational displays that span topics from dinosaurs, excuse me, to space exploration. It's a hub for curious, blending the fun, I'm sorry. It is a hub for the curious, blending fun with learning, making it a perfect destination for families and science enthusiasts alike. Ooh boy, which of these things can you not do at the museum? Cosplay a medieval knight. I'm gonna say cosplay a medieval knight. There you go. Yeah. See, I got one of the answers right. I got money for the next trip. Wow. Learning so much, chat. I'm learning so much. Wow. Damn. Ain't it great? Anyways, let's finish up this bit of Duolingo here. It's gonna give me like an XP boost, and it's just like I've already learned so much today. I can't.
Groß.
The egg has not gotten smarter, chat. The egg is still relatively of normal intelligence for like what we're trying to go for. Who ist
Das. Der.
Fuck! I'm not gonna... I can never get that, chat. I can never get that one. Das
Mineralwasser.
Wasser. I believe this is it. Die Pisa. Right? It gets me every time. Der Casa.
Der.
Der Salat.
Das.
Das Schnitzel.
Das.
Das.
Die.
Das Wasser. Die Speisekarte.
Das. Die.
Das Mineralwasser. Die Milch.
Okay, good. Das Mineralwasser. Die Milch.
Entschuldigung, wo ist der Kellner?
I believe this is how you spell it. Ah, what'd I miss? Oh, I missed the C.
Der. Das.
Okay, cool. Das Restaurante. There really is like no good way to like remember like logic as to these. They just are the way they are, it feels like. There.
Die. Das.
Der, das, and D. The three thes. The three thes. If you mean the articles and which word has what. Yes. Yes. Like, what is the logic there? I genuinely do not get it. I genuinely don't understand. They're pretty random. Thank you. Like, I genuinely don't understand, like, why they are the way they are. I think it really is just a case of, like, it is what it is. And you need to remember. You need to remember them. Get good. I've been learning for years and still don't grasp it. Just use the for everything, Jesus. Nah, it's fine. I just need to remember. I know them, but I don't understand them either. I genuinely do think it's just like random, it feels like. You know? Ugh, I am getting a little tired though, chat. Not gonna lie. But first we gotta run another ad, I'm sorry.
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Raw rolls on after this. No, I am getting a little tired, chat, I will not lie. You're in North America, right? Go to bed. I am in North America, yes. We're gonna do one more round of GeoGuessr, right? A 90-second minute break still. Listen. Don't bully the homunculus, okay? Don't bully the homunculus. He's trying his best. The Cheetos have made him insane. And there's no coming back from it. But no, like, I will... I'll go to bed here after one more round of this. Again, I really appreciate everyone for friggin' hanging out for as long as they have. If you haven't done so already, I'd really, really appreciate it if you followed and if you joined the Discord. If you joined the Discord, that would absolutely make my day because, again, tomorrow, we are going to... Wait, hold on. I'll just kind of wait one more time for, like, people to come back here. Right? Yes? Give it a second here.
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. Hi. But yeah, I would appreciate it if you joined the Discord because tomorrow we are going to be watching the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, the 2024 Royal Rumble. It's gonna be fun. You'll be able to watch it with a lot of like-minded wrestling fans. Even if you aren't a fan of wrestling, I still think you should fucking join because not only are we doing wrestling, we're also doing My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. We're doing movie nights. We're doing game nights. I'm going to be trying more often, I'm going to be trying to hang out and chat more often, so on and so forth. So yeah, if you want to be part of a fun, thriving community of wrestling games and other such silliness, I would appreciate it if you join the Discord by clicking the link right there. But for now, we are going to be finishing up here with one more round of this. Let's go, chat. Let's get all W's. All W's here, chat. All right. Any clues? Mondo. Oh. Mosaic art. This should be easy. It should be, but, you know, I'm dumb. So, we'll see if it is. Religious places. What the fuck is this? Mondo Cattolico. Mosaic art. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna do it, chat. I'm gonna destroy my credibility. Okay? I'm gonna destroy it. The Vatican, mate. No, I know. I mean, like that's what I was going for. Okay? That's what I was going for. I'm very tired. Sorry. Few city blocks inside of Rome. Right, yeah. Let's go ahead and do this. There you go. Vatican City, there you go. Cool. Castles. Let's look. What the fuck? Okay. Oh, this is easy. I'm pretty sure this is either Disney World or Disneyland. I'm going to... Okay, so... Remembering my time going to Disney World in Florida, I believe. I was wondering how long this would take to click. Let this be... Orlando. Yes, baby! Did it! W. Oh, we're on such a good streak, chat. Let's friggin' do it. More... No. Where... I don't know where this is. What the heck? What is this? What? Moore Hall. I'm absolutely stumped on this one. I'm like absolutely stumped on this one. Straight up. This feels English or Irish. Fuck it, Ireland. Dang it. Well, we were close. We can do it, chat. Let's bang out this one here. Let's go to the bus. There may be something there for us. No, bus, come back here, please. Okay, this is Japanese. Pretty sure. Oh, it's like, just so we can finish this level, I'm going to... This is a place you would not expect that European architecture. No, seriously. I'm gonna go to Japan here and just take a big old stab. Oh, yes, let's go. That was such a good guess. Alright, let's redeem myself. Bridge. Bridge. Let's do it, chat. Okay. It's Canada. I know that much. Now, where in Canada would it be, though? French Canadian. I need, like, a sign here. What the No. Get back. No! Wait, maybe? No, that won't help at all. Keep moving. In what direction? In the direction I was going? Like towards this building here? Keep moving. Get moving. We need to like wrap around this building. Try and find like some sort of sign. Caravan group. We are like going so far away. National defense. Oh man. Holy, oh my god. Heavenly light. And let there be light, jeez. Going way far away from the original place. Okay. I'm gonna take a guess. We're gonna take a guess, chat. Where would something like national defense be based? It would be based in, like, a capital city, right? Wait. One that's probably near the border. A city like... Yeah, exactly. A city like that. A city like Ottawa. Let's fucking go, dude. Wow. We did it. Let's go, chat. Woo! Yeah, let's go. Fan-freaking-tastic. Fan-freaking-tastic, chat. I want some of... I'm getting some of the guy in there. I'm getting some of the guy in chat there. For all of you to see. W. Absolute W. Look at him. Look at the yippee man in chat right now. You see him? He's so happy that we figured out it was Ottawa, Canada. He'd not be able to live with himself if not for that. American speed limits. In the USA, the speed limit is labeled as speed limit. The speed is also displayed in miles per hour. Yes, I know. He's so happy that we got it, chat. Look at him. He's about to burst. Anyways, let's learn about one more city, and then we will head off for the night. There is a lot of Ottawa in this mode, by the way. Really. So, like, we'll be going back there a lot. Let's go back to Atlanta, chat. 2 times visited Atlanta. Welcome, y'all. What is the largest species in the aquarium? Whale shark. Wait, is this just the same thing again? Is this just the same thing again? It is! What? I'm sorry? Huh? No. Go back. It literally said that I was like 3% of the way complete with it. That makes no sense. You need to unlock all packs? Like all the packs? Like all the card packs? Oh. Okay. Well, you know, I feel like next time we play this, we're gonna try City Guesser because that's free. And I don't want to... I think each city actually has 10 levels. Well, I just redid the first level. So, maybe we'll do that some other point in time. For now, though, I'm very sleepy, and I want to go to bed. Thank you all very much for hanging out tonight. This was a whole lot of fun. Again, if you haven't done so already, I would appreciate it if you joined the Discord server and joined us tomorrow for the Royal Rumble. And follow me here on Twitch for more fun streams. I will be back here on Sunday with SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 Road to WrestleMania mode. We're either going to be playing as Triple H or Chris Jericho, and we're going to be adding to our Cursed Wrestling multiverse. Follow me on my socials right here. There they are, right there on that card. On that card right there. I'm most active on Twitter and on Blue Sky. But you know, I also have a YouTube, and where I'm hoping to put up more videos this year, and where I put up all my shorts. I also got TikTok. I got like all that shit. Everything is Giraffe-Estev. For now though, let's find someone to raid, and then I'll find a bed to sleep in. Let's see who's online right now. Let me see. Let's raid in to Ashendice. Yeah, sure, why not? Why not? Let's do that. Let's raid into Ashendice, y'all. Go in there. Right into them. Let me just go ahead and do a little thing here. The Golden Gate Bridge is not in New York. There's the fucking raid message. Bam. There you go. There it is. Go and show Ashendice a little bit of love, and I'll see y'all I'll see you all on Sunday for more SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. Until then, everyone, thanks for watching. Bye.